Welcome to The Author Next Door, where hosts Angela Haas and Cassie Newell chat about the wild world of writing and publishing. Join them for weekly episodes and special monthly guests. Pull up a chair. The conversation starts now.
Welcome to episode 36. I'm Cassie Newell, and I'm here with my co-host Angela Haas. And this month, we're exploring different genres with some special guests. To kick off, we're going to talk about genres we write in and what we love and not, if anything, all about them. So, to kick it off, Angela, talk about the genres you write in and what do you love about them?
Well, I used to always write science fiction, superheroes, just because I loved the idea. Now, I'm going to say this, and there's probably a listener that's a super hardcore sci-fi fan that's like, that's not how it works. Okay, I know that. But when I first started, I was just like, oh my gosh, I can create any planet I want. And I can have dinosaurs on the planet. Boom, dinosaurs. I love dinosaurs. I want dinosaurs here. I can have this be a water planet. And I just loved the possibilities of just being like, you know what? Hey, they're just people, they live in tree houses. Boom, this is this planet. Boom, I like tree houses. I saw a picture on Pinterest. I'm going to make this a whole planet. Obviously, there's more. There's conventions to like
Right.
creating a sci-fi world. But I just love that like the sky was the limit. I could do anything I wanted within reason, but just have, different cultures and different things. It's just like there's so much that you can do. But that also was an exhaustion point for me because you really have to follow sci-fi rules. And so I was always like, okay, I can't have this without saying this. And if I have superheroes, there's got to be their limitations and what's their strengths, what their weaknesses, and how are they different. And so when I was waiting for edits to come back on my book to the superhero stories, I was like, what if I just tried to write a romance accidentally? Just, I was like, I just start a romance. Now, of course, I had to study. If you really truly want to be successful, you can't just write a romance. You have to do some research. You have to read romance and figure out genre conventions and stuff like that. But what I loved is how much easier it was to write in a place that existed for me because I set mine in Scottsdale. I lived part-time in Scottsdale. So I was like, favorite restaurant, boom, you're in there. I can describe it. I've been there. I know what it smells like, what the food's like. I can totally accurately describe this stuff because it exists.
You lived
I've
it.
been there. I can't go to my fake dinosaur planet. I don't really know what it smells like. And then you have to have the right dinosaurs for the right flora and fauna.
Right.
So but I do love both. I have outlined thrillers. I love the page turning feel of a thriller. I love, creating sort of a detective in their world and solving a case. So those three genres really fascinate me. I love reading and writing in those just because they all represent different parts of my personality that I can fuse in. But about you, what do you like?
Oh, I like so many different types of genres. I'm very eclectic, to be quite honest, and I'm a bit of a mood reader. For myself, when I started writing, I gravitated toward young adult. And the reason for that, was I had younger children at the time. However, I've always watched young adult films. I've always read young adult things. And I think part of it, too, is interesting because as an adult, when you look back on your life, you mostly go to your young adult self when you learned things. So it's such a crucial point about how you're formed and how your opinions start to really inform you as an adult. And so I've always loved young adult stuff.
Right.
So for me, fantasy, I love fantasy everything. And I love poetry and romance. So for young adults, me writing Magic was definitely fantasy. It has a romance subplot to it. And then I had my passion project, which was poetry as well. And I love
Mhm.
fairy tales with a twist. And so
Mhm.
I was
Yeah.
able to incorporate that in my poetry. And then I got to do art. So it was very much a passion project for me. And then it was kind of a a really tough love talk with a fellow author friend of ours. And it was like, you're not writing in the right genre.
Mm.
Because I am a rabid romance reader as well. And I was like, yeah, what am I doing? And then I started thinking about the different types of romance because I am a very eclectic subgenre romance reader as well. I read really dark erotica. I read very quirky, um, comedic, clean. I read everything in between. I love it all. And so I was like, but where do I fit? And just kind of going to my roots, being a Southern girl. Um, yeah, I just decided to be more in the contemporary space
Mhm.
and really hone in on small towns. So yeah, it really changed the trajectory for me. But I love adventure. I love reading adventure. I mean, I'm a Star Wars, Indiana Jones
Mhm.
girl. So, like, those
Yeah.
things will always be present in what I love to watch and read.
Mhm.
But for me, I love the romance component of all the subplots of those things too. So, yeah, it just I think once my kids were grown, I don't know that I won't ever return to young adult, and it's crazy because it all still sells really well.
Mhm.
I mean, it's kind of there in the background, but for right now, I'm just having so much fun in romance, and the ideas just keep coming and coming, and it just feels more me
Yeah.
too. And I think that authentic part when it all marries up, it feels really good.
Yeah, I agree. And
Yeah.
your romances are so light and fun and bubbly, but you've done such a great job about creating the town, this sensory,
Thanks.
immersive experience of so many readers, including myself. I'm like, we really want this to be real.
I know. I
I
wanna
really want
I'm
this store
like,
to be
if I could
real.
win the lottery and have my own bakery slash
Hmm.
romance bookstore, it would be open.
Yeah,
Like, it would be
exactly.
happening.
Yeah,
So,
no,
yeah.
absolutely. What's a genre you don't read and you don't write and could never see yourself writing in? Or you might read it but couldn't write it, or what are some genres
Well,
that
I
you're
don't like speculative fiction very much. I don't I love biographies too. So, I don't like the shock kind of speculative stuff at all. Um, and then I do read horror sometimes, but I don't think I could ever write horror. This past weekend, my daughter was like, okay, Sinners with Michael B.
Oh, yeah.
Jordan is going to be this whole universe. There's going to be like 9 films, all this stuff. I really want to watch this movie. Granted, she's like, we'll watch it in the middle of the day, all the lights on,
I know.
all this stuff. And I'm like, I don't think I want to. Maybe that's a you and a dad thing. I just really protect my creative energy because my mind can go wild when I
Mhm.
see certain visual things or even reading it. So I just really have to protect myself around that. I just can't see it. And it's so funny because I love vampires. I love werewolves. I watched all of True Blood. I read True Blood. Like all the things that are like pretty violent and horrific in most sense. But I do much better at reading them. But for me to write them, I just don't want to go to those places. I know um, a novel I wrote recently, I'm dealing with heavier topics than kind of the feel good things that I've
Mhm.
written in my shorts, but I still like happily ever after. I like that everybody is walking away or that there's a
Alive.
body count. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? I just, even though I did kill a lot of people, my young adult, but
Oh
for
my.
purposes,
Okay.
um, for reasons. And I think some people cheered nonetheless. I just kind of, I don't know. What about you? Could you write a horror?
No, I don't know. I think the horror reader, I don't like this. Well, I think every reader, it's got to be the same. but different? And how do you
Yeah.
really stand out? And plus, what really truly scares us is so different. I think we can all agree in romance, there's a certain way to do a happily ever after. I mean, yes, there's difference, but like the feelings around a happily ever after are kind of universal. But what scares you may not scare me and vice versa. So, like, trying to
Right.
write something truly scary. Plus, like, I don't watch horror films and I don't read horror because I just have such an overactive imagination.
Yeah.
I watch a lot of true crime and that gets me in trouble. And like, I had a dream where I was in a cage and like being buried alive by a serial killer. So if I can get that from a Dateline, like I don't need anything else
No,
in
you don't
there.
need
Like I
anything
don't
feeding it.
want no, no, no. Um,
Yeah.
and I like more what scares me, what like the scary movies that I like have to do more with ghosts and that kind of paranormal
Mm.
because I don't like gore. I don't like seeing gory things. I'm too sensitive. But like I loved the movie The Others with
The
Nicole
others? I
Kidman.
didn't see that.
Or like The Sixth Sense,
Yeah.
where
Yeah,
it's
I love
kind of scary,
psychological
like
thrillers.
it's ghost scary where you're just like jumping and then it's got a big twist. So that's like the level of scare that I can handle. I can't handle anything else.
Yeah.
Um, which is why I think I'm excited to have Dan Wilcox on, who is a
Yeah.
horror author, and he can I think it's good for us to branch out and to like talk about things that we don't, you know.
Yeah.
But I don't think after trying to read romantasy, I don't think I can do it. I always thought I could. Okay, I'm going to tackle like romantasy facts. I don't think I'm cut out for it because I
Yeah.
to hit that there's so much competition, but also to hit that you have to really go way beyond in your world building, and I can't do that. My fantasy would be like The Knight's Tale, where they had a
But
David
there's a
Bowie
place for
song
that.
on. I
Nice.
want
Yeah.
satire, humorous, or I love pirates, so I would do something with like fantasy slash pirate lore. But other than that, I don't think I can do it
Well,
well
there's
enough.
romantasy and then there's dark romantasy.
I know. Neither. I can't.
Or romance I mean, I just think they're combining the words of romance and fantasy. I
Yeah.
mean, there's so many different aspects of that too.
Yeah.
So,
I have an idea for a pirate one series and I might do that, but because I just love pirates. But other than that, I can't. I don't think I could do that, I think
I
it
don't
takes
know. I'm a big J.R. Ward fan, Cressley Cole, Cheryl and Kenyon. Like I've read so many vampires and various paranormal type romances when
Mhm.
yeah, and I can devour. It's so funny because I don't even know the page reads. Usually it was just always percent on my Kindle, and then I like recommended it to people and they're like, "This book is like 500 pages and you've read how many of these?" And I'm just like, "I don't
Right.
know. I'm just speed reading through it, It's just like
Right.
candy, like a chip
Yeah.
in a potato chip bag. Like you just can't eat one." So, I don't know, when they're that good, they just play like a little soap opera in your head.
Oh, totally.
They're
Yeah.
just fun. I don't know. I really enjoy them. And so, yeah, I will always love fantasy. Like, yep, I'm a Fourth Wing fan. You
Oh
know,
yeah. I
I
I
just
did
love all of
enjoy
it.
Fourth Wing, but because the
Yeah.
characters and then anything with dragons, I'll read it with dragons. I don't care. Like dragons. Could never do a shifter, a reverse harem. I can't do those. No. Yeah, I can't go into those
those
subgenres.
those things. Yeah, I think I
I
could, but right now it's not really in my where I'm at today.
no.
So I'm just like, no, I'm having too much fun. And,
Yeah.
we've talked offline. Peachwood Grove is growing.
Yeah.
I have just so much more, and I want to, dive into the novel side of contemporary romance and comedy. And yeah,
Yeah.
I like rom-coms. They're so much fun.
Well, it was
So,
funny. I never thought I could write a romance because I do not like movies or books like The Notebook. I'm too cynical. I think I'm like, "Oh, come on.
and then
That's
you
too
talk to me, and
mushy."
I'm like, you're reading and watching the wrong stuff.
Right. Until I really did my research, what I thought about romance was 80s, 90s romance. Danielle Steele. There's nothing wrong with Danielle
Yeah.
Steele either. Like, that's what we grew up on, Danielle
Yeah.
Steele, and even VC
Harlequin.
Harlequin,
Yeah.
VC Andrews,
Yeah.
Flowers in the Attic. That was so
That
taboo, but I was like, "Whoa,
yeah,
this
that
is
was very
wild."
tough.
But Nicholas Sparks, that's the
Yeah.
kind of romance that I was like, "I don't wanna write this stuff." But then once I was like, "Oh, you can make it snarky and funny and okay,
Yeah.
yeah, I can do this." And I was really proud of it, and I'm really excited for my
And you're
next
so good at it
romance
because
and
you've got that comedy flair. So I
well,
think
thank
the
you.
rom-com suits you really well,
Yeah.
although I know you love the thriller.
Well, it's funny that writing action adventure really helped me. The thing that people have loved about my superhero books is that they felt like they couldn't put them down, but they also said that about romance. I'm like, "Oh yeah, I can still use what I knew how to do with like
Yeah.
page turners and still bring
And
that
your
into the
hooks on your
romance."
chapters
Yeah.
and
So I'm like, I can still do this. I think my romance is for people that you usually don't read romance, maybe.
No, I don't think that's true at all. But I think the difference for romance, and I think one of the reasons why it's the highest selling genre
Yes, it
is
is.
because it's all about human connection and experience, and it's
Mhm.
relatable in all its forms.
Right,
Whether you're getting that as a subline, a subplot, excuse me, for a thriller, action adventure, whatever it may be, even a murder mystery,
right.
that it just gives you that human experience. When you're reading a full romance novel, there's aspects of tropes we've always talked about on this podcast. Not that there aren't tropes in other genres, it's just that they're so well defined in romance. And what makes a romance novel is the happily ever after or happily for now. It doesn't have to always be happily ever after, it could be happy for now too. Um, because if you don't have that, then it's not a romance novel. It could be women's fiction or literature or, something else. But I think that's why I gravitate to romance. And I do like the familiarity, though, of certain tropes and things like that.
Mhm.
I want to be entertained. Sometimes when
Right,
I'm really into more literature genre, it's about my education and gaining some kind of cultural knowledge or something of that. But for romance, like I just don't want to think. I want to turn off the world
right,
and dive into a book. And that's kind of what I'm doing when I'm writing it because my full-time day job is completely opposite of this. And I love it. It just allows you to relax. Yeah.
right. Well, I like to write escapism. I know that
Yeah.
there's a lot of people that, write what they wanna talk about if there's,
Mhm.
like, problems in the world and they wanna explore that, and I think that's great, but I kinda just don't because I think we're so inundated, like, every time I open social media and every time I turn on the TV, we can't totally escape, like, issues today, nor should we,
Yeah.
but sometimes it is nice to rest your mind and be in a fantasy world.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I do think fantasy, though, is also a political backdrop, usually of the times that are
Mhm.
occurring. Um,
Yeah.
I don't know. In my novel, I talk about equality a lot and things I've experienced in the workforce,
Mhm.
and friends that I know have experienced in the workforce. So, I think certainly we have those types of topics, certainly, and in
Right.
romance as well.
Yeah.
And then a lot of dark romance too. People may foo-foo at it for the erotic side of it, but really it's about overcoming trauma. And there are a lot of dark and deep subjects around trauma. I
Mm.
love hearing Willow Winters, fellow author, talk about, how her dark trauma has helped so many people and they read it as a part of recovery too. And I find that really interesting because in my mind, I haven't experienced those traumas. So I don't have that output as someone else might. I do think, trigger warnings are important, but I also
Right.
think, at the end of the day, fiction is fiction, and hopefully you're picking up the right genre and book for what you're wanting to escape to,
Right.
versus working through
Exactly.
something. That's a little different and specific. So,
I'm
yeah.
just looking up I'm just doing some research. So it's interesting. Well, romance is the number one selling genre, $1.4 billion of retail
Yeah.
sales last year. Then second is mystery thriller. Then three is fantasy, and I'm sure the subgenres of dark fantasy, dark romance, dark
Hmm.
fantasy, romance are in there. But there is an article on Goodreads, and I'll have to post this. But sometimes what we're writing doesn't neatly fit into
Yeah.
a genre.
Hmm.
So there's a Goodreads article that there's like a bunch of cross genre fiction, and it's like, wow, my story probably fits into this. But there's whole books on called the genre is called Appalachian speculation. Bog bodies, mysterious moss, android futures. Appalachia is having a moment in the sci-fi realm. So it's science fiction, but set in Appalachia. Interesting.
And probably
Water,
current day.
yeah.
Yeah.
Water worlds, that's a genre. Rising oceans, deadly algae blooms, drowned cities, dystopian future. So dystopian fiction, but the cross genre is water world. Mommy Dearest is a cross genre. The children
Isn't
of
that just bully? A bully genre?
probably the children of original mommy influencers are all grown up. What
That's
else?
interesting.
Yeah, there's pregnant protagonists, strange appetites, cannibalistic women, carnivorous plants. Okay, I won't be
No,
going
no,
in
no.
there. Sympathy for the devil and Butcher and Blackbird is in here,
Oh, I
which
loved Butcher and Blackbird, and I read the series that Bren Weaver wrote. It is super spicy, but what I loved about it was the comedy of it. And
right.
really, the open part of that dark romantic comedy was lights out for me. That was a 5-star read, hands down for me.
Oh yeah,
Um,
I've seen that.
by Navessa Allen, and I I just think, I didn't know what to expect, and then when I'm laughing so hard and the main male character is so relatable in his humor, even though his background is, like, completely tragic, you're just like, "This is so funny." Like, it's when you're laughing through tears and not crying through tears, I mean,
Hmm.
for dark romance, such a difference. So I love that new category of
Yeah,
comedic dark romance.
yeah, it's an
It's my
interesting
jam.
read. Yeah,
Can I write it? I don't think so. I don't think that's in my wheelhouse, but I sure do enjoy it and respect it.
right. Well,
Yeah.
and when you're writing in some of those cross genres, and
Yeah.
there's less competition, I loved writing sci-fi, but then when I didn't get something exactly right, I'd have bad reviews like your acid rain. It made no sense the way you described it
I
happening.
got you recently, Angela.
It's
You're going
not
to love
about
this one.
that. I go, it's not about the acid rain. They're on the planet for 5
Yeah.
scenes. I just
We don't
needed
care. We're
acid rain.
moving on.
Yeah, but
The plot is
there's
progressing
some
elsewhere.
readers that's really important, and that's what makes it hard. Then I started to be like, okay, well, maybe I need to do more research on like how to create more science in this, So I'm not trying to shame the bad reviewer, but at some points I'm like, well, okay, it's like how much
Yeah.
do you give and then take, with that. But yeah, what was your
Oh, yeah. You'll love this. I got a 1 star. I think it was a 1 star. Maybe it was a 2 star that said, I loved the story, but it was too short. Moved too
Yeah.
fast. It was too short. And I was
Oh,
like, on the front and all over it, it says a short.
short story. Yeah,
So
poor
I was
kiddo.
like,
That's my, in the South, they have bless your heart. Mine is poor kiddo,
yeah,
poor
I'm
kiddo.
sorry
They
you
just
missed
didn't
that
get it.
byline that's all over the book and all of my advertising and
Yeah.
all of the background material.
Well, one of my reviewers said my villain was too cartoonish, and I was like, this is superhero fiction. You're telling me
Of
the
course
Green
he is.
Goblin
Yeah.
And Spider-Man is not, like, they're
Yeah.
all cartoonish. There's
I
no
love it.
superhero villain that's really, I mean, there could be some. I don't wanna open an argument, but superheroes, comic books, yeah,
Yeah.
they're kinda cartoonish, you know? So I was like, "Thank you." That's what I was going for. So,
Do you think you would
anyway,
ever write a memoir of your experience or life or anything like
no,
that? No?
I can't. Nope. No, I don't think anyone wants to know this mess. I mean, seriously, no. I think there's too many different parties involved, and that would not be happy if I truly
Well,
reported
memoir
on.
doesn't have to be completely nonfiction. I love the way Rachel Herron writes
Mhm,
memoirs, and she'll take a specific activity that she's really like knitting, very much knitting
mhm.
or crocheting, and she'll weave in an event and it's become this huge story. And I'm sure some of it's more fictionalized than what
Yeah.
truly happened. But I love those kinds. I
I
don't know.
mean,
I love
maybe
them.
I could do it a scope of, like, my retail life. That would be interesting, but then it's just, yeah, how far do you go?
Yeah. I don't know.
So,
I think
yeah.
memoir is tough. I love reading biographies. And my favorite thing, actually, speaking of genre, is when the biography is an audiobook and the person is reading it.
Mm. Yeah,
I
that's really cool.
I love those. I, like,
Yeah.
love to get those audiobooks. Those are my favorites because usually they get embellished, especially with comedians, they're the best.
Mhm.
And, it's their voice and they have the timing down, and
Yeah.
I don't know, I
Yeah.
have so much fun listening to those types of biographies and self-help or nonfiction books. Those are, like, my
Yeah.
favorites and
Yeah.
audiobooks. Yeah.
I don't do that too much, but I just, yeah, I'm trying to stick to what I'm writing and just to keep my head in that game. So, but I'm excited for this month. We're going to have a satirist, David Hankins, on,
Oh
and
gosh.
his book is called Death and the Taxman.
Oh, I
It's
love
winning
satire.
all kinds of awards. It's really wild. So, and then Dan Wilcox, and then hopefully our friend Christine Daigle, who's writing thrillers. So, I'm excited to deep dive into some of these other genres that not
Yeah,
normally
that
I,
aren't familiar for us
yeah,
as a writing component, for
yeah,
sure. Yeah.
exactly. So,
Yeah, I've read
cool.
2 books that Dan has recommended.
Yeah,
One of them
awesome.
scared the crap out of me.
Oh, thank you. I don't think so. Yeah.
That'll be fun. Um,
So what are your personal updates? What are you got going on?
my personal updates. Actually, you know what? I have been binging a little bit of Netflix and catching up on season 2s of stuff. So, The
Nice.
Sandman, which is a Neil Gaiman
Mhm.
book and stuff. Well, actually, it's a whole graphic novel. I loved it. And so started watching that. And then the one that I binged this past weekend isn't even finished for the season. I really don't like that Netflix. When I want to binge, I want the whole season out. I'm just going to put that out there.
Right, exactly.
Is Wednesday Addams. It's
Oh,
so
yeah.
fun.
It's fun.
It's just
Yes.
quirky and enough mystery that it's just, and very young adult.
Right.
But anyway, I was having so much fun with it. And I love the surprise guest stars in it, and
Mhm.
just it's great.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's not done. I don't like that when they break up
No,
a
you have to
season and then
wait.
they're like, on September 13th, the rest of the season
No.
will come out. I'm like,
That's why, like,
no.
we're all caught up in Only Murders in the Building, but season 5 is coming out, but we're just gonna wait until it's all done. Then you can just binge it. Yeah. That's what we're doing. Yeah.
I mean, Sandman is completely bingeable, but I was really into Wednesday
See? You gotta
Adams,
wait.
and it's just quirky and fun, and I
Yeah.
just needed a little quirky in my life. So,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah. No.
So what about you? Update. What's
We're
been
I
going
don't
on?
have much yet, but I will. but not yet. So we're actually just rewatching Ted Lasso because we haven't watched season 3. So we're starting at the beginning and then now we're going to watch season 3. That's like my update of what
I
we're
have a
watching.
recommendation. Since you are on Apple to watch Ted, watch Stick with Owen Wilson.
Oh, yeah. I think
It's done. The first season is done. So you
Okay.
can totally
Yeah.
it's totally bingeable. But the actor, I don't know the actor's name, but the one who plays Roy Kent
Mm-hmm.
is the producer and director of Stick.
Nice.
And
Okay, cool.
it's
Yeah,
similar,
love
has
him.
a similar flair.
I saw that. Okay, I'm putting it down. That looks
Yeah,
really
you should
good.
watch that one. It's quirky, it's fun. All right, table topics.
What about your childhood wouldn't most people guess?
What about my childhood that people wouldn't guess about me?
Yeah. Is there a surprise fun fact about your childhood?
I don't know. There's so many things. I don't know where to go. You go first, Angela.
Well, people may know this, but like I grew up in a really remote town called Green Mountain Falls in Colorado. It's not really on any maps because people are like, why bother? There's not much here. So when I was a kid, but it was the property was an old mining cabin that my house got built on.
Oh,
But
wow.
it was super scary when I was a kid just because of all the wildlife. I've been, chased by a bear because we were unloading groceries and there's no garages really. You're just out there. So my childhood, and that's definitely something I explore in No Mountain High Enough. It's just definitely my experiences living on the side of a mountain in a log cabin. And
That's
yeah,
crazy. You were chased
yeah.
by a bear?
Oh yeah. I mean, there's ways to
Yeah.
get them to like go away from you. But yeah, it was intense mountain living. I will say that. So yeah.
Wow.
What about you? What's a
So
surprise?
I'm an Air Force brat, and we moved every 2 to 3 years.
Mm,
And we moved to Oklahoma twice, which was kind of unheard of. But my dad was the commander of the AWACS. And so we ended up
nice.
back there. Um, And I used to collect rocks, and I love geodes, and I love finding rocks that I could crack open. And my mom would get irritated because when we would move to different places, I wanted to pack my rocks, which are heavy. So we could only keep the special ones. And I was trained at a very young age that I had one memory box. If it didn't fit in the box, it didn't go with
Wow.
us.
That's so
So
great.
it was more like yearbooks and pennants and maybe a few trophies. And like then things would get kind of pushed out of that box and things like
Wow.
that. You'd think I would have learned that as an adult. Now that we have downsized and we had to get a storage unit, even though we're still downsizing. But yeah, I don't know. For me, I think that was probably the most quirky thing and something that my kids kind of took up too, especially my youngest one. She's very into like stones and rocks. And
That's
I
so
used to
cool.
carry around certain stones and I usually have them on my desk that I just kind of rub them.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just habit. It's not that I completely believe in this mystical thing all the time around rocks, but they're pretty
Yeah. They're good. They have good energy.
and they
Some
have
do.
good
Yeah.
energy and I just like
Exactly.
them. So,
Exactly.
yeah.
Awesome.
So, yeah, that's quirky fact. There
Cool.
we go. This month is going to be so much fun. So I'm so excited to talk about all these genres. So thank you, listeners, for joining us today. Don't forget to give us a review and a rating wherever you listen to the podcast. It really helps with visibility. Next week, we're talking with award winning science fiction fantasy author David Hankins. Until then, keep writing, keep doing.
I'll see ya.
Bye.
Thanks for joining today's episode of The Author Next Door. Be sure to like, follow, and tell us your thoughts of this week's episode. Angela and Cassie would love to hear from you.